What's going on, the copywriting culture? Boy Loso 2.0, the copy got himself, I said. And today we're going to be talking about how you need to stop talking about stuff that you have no experience in. Okay. So, first of all, I'm just going to say this because I know people are going to say this. The average man is going to say this, right? It's okay to have an opinion on something and speak on it. You don't have to be experienced on it to speak on something. Okay, yeah, to an extent, right? Yeah, you can have an opinion on it because no opinion is wrong. But at the same time, though, you telling people what's right or wrong in some type of thing that you have no experience in is just, it just doesn't make sense to me. When did we start doing this? When did life become like you can start talking about stuff that you have nothing getting into? You know what I mean? I mean, plenty of examples of that stuff, right? You know, I remember it was like, I think JT and Carisha were arguing before, right? And for you guys that don't know, that's the City Girls. They're arguing, why is Lil Uzi jumping in that instead of just letting them, their friends are gonna thug it out. That has nothing to do with you, right? People like to jump. Just I feel like it's sometimes just a natural average person response to try to jump into stuff that you have no business even speaking on, right? And we always got something to say. Like we can never just let something go. Like especially as I'm just speaking from like what I'm seeing from our black men today, right? We always got to jump into something that's to do with the women a lot of times, or even we just have to, and especially white, not it is a lot of times there is. I'm not saying it's everybody, but a lot of times you will get Caucasians trying to or white people trying to get into the business of what has to do with a black person a lot of the times. Not saying that it's I mean, I can't say it's right or wrong. In my opinion, it's like mind your business, right? But it's just what it is today, right? Those Karens, right? But it's just like you can't have something to say about something you have nothing to do with. I really stand firm when I say stuff like this. Like you really have to mind your own business. Um, and this really stuck out to me with the ruling over the abortion, right? None of the people that ruled for that to happen were even like fertile, right? So we had I think it was like one or two old behind white women. Then you had, all these white men, and then I think it was like another black man or something like that. Like it was all these like it was just men and old women that were like doing it, like, oh, abortion should be illegal, da 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 da. And then now they're just making it more dangerous, right? People that are different stuff are happening to people, right? Women are getting raped, and that's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? That stuff is happening now. You have people also, it's dangerous for them to actually have a baby because maybe some type of medical problems. But you know who's really dangerous for? It's dangerous for our queens, our black queens out there. It's dangerous for our sisters out there. Now, this is when it starts to get a little suspect a little bit, right? Because it's like, okay, and I kind of talked about this in my talk with Kyrie on episode 1 that we did, right? It was like it was always more dangerous for a black woman to have a baby than a white woman. They're actually 3 times more likely to die in the process of having a baby than a white person is. 3 times more likely than a white woman. So now you take away abortion, right? Where it's because the medical system is failing. The medical system is failing us right now. The medical system is failing black women like heavy, especially African Americans as a whole, but definitely black women. They're failing them heavy. To be a black woman in America right now is crazy, right? Being African American in America is crazy, but it's just like black women. This is what I mean by the odds are kind of stacked against us. I really do believe that, honestly, for a fact I do, but I also know that like I see it as an advantage to just push us harder. Well, push me harder. I use it as a drive. I control what I get from it. You know what I mean? Everybody sees it differently. I control what I get from it. I see it as like, all right, this is what's going to push me now to be more successful because I know that we're at a disadvantage right now. But it's just crazy though, right? So that black women are 3 times more likely. Now you're forcing them to give birth in certain states, right? Thank goodness. Excuse me. Thank goodness Delaware's not one of them. But now you're forcing them to have a baby in certain states. Now you're like basically saying, okay, they die. Now we're just letting them die. Maybe we're just increasing white, Caucasian people now. We're trying to increase their population. I don't know what's going on. It's some type of form of population control. I mean, I know I sound like a conspiracy theorist, but maybe that's what it is. It may be some type of, that really might what it be though, honestly. And that's why I was like Is it population control? Maybe, maybe not, because of the fact that, like I said, black women are more likely to die from having birth. So if they're more likely to die, then it just makes sense that that's why they're doing this, right? What's next, though, for African Americans, right? Oh, you know what? They look a little free out here. You know what I mean? They're just walking around, looking too free for me. Let's overturn that, too, and bring back slavery. I don't know. Well, I mean, slavery kind of never left, though, because, with just like the prison systems as well, people working like, you know what I mean? People are doing like, what? Working 10 cents an hour or something crazy like that. Like, you know what I mean? People are still doing a lot of stuff though. And they're making them do hard labor for these big corporations. You should watch, I think it's called the 13th, or it's something about the 13th Amendment or something. It's on Netflix, it's a documentary. And we talked about this in Black History class in at DSU about how, like literally the prison system is modern day slavery. Oh, and that's another example though, right? Because it's more likely for an African American man, it's more likely for us, kings, to get arrested. We fill up the prisons more than any other race. So then they, knowing that too, it's like, yeah, they're going to sacrifice some of their own, but then knowing that that's the case, now they have us stacking up with that stuff. Now they know that that's the case. Now it's like, all right, so we're going to make it do modern day slavery, make them work for 10 cents an hour. Slavery never stopped. If something is built off of something, you think they're just going to stop it? No. 10 cents an hour. They're still out there picking and cotton for these big places. Victoria's Secret was one of them, I believe. It was like Walmart or something. It was all these different companies that were still using slaves, but us in the prison system, because they know we're more likely to be in a prison system. I think it's the same thing with our queens now. They know that they're more likely to die giving birth to a child. So now it's like, all right, yeah, we're going to sacrifice some, white women, but it's just like, now we're going to sacrifice some of them, but it's for their greater good, for them to basically population control us into, basically doing that. It's crazy, right? I don't know what the next step is, right? All I know is this. You can control, you have to control what you can control. Like what you have to control you. Excuse me. You have to control you. So you have to control what you take from this, right? You see them doing this. Like I said, for me personally, I see all this stuff going on right now, and I'm like, you know what? I have to push harder. I have to be better, because I know that, they like green over black. So it's like, I may have to, work harder. I may be at a disadvantage right now, but I just see disadvantages as advantages, because it's just another chip on my shoulder in order to get this stuff. Because then if something does happen, say like my wife, and I know that the medical system's failing them, I give them this green, they going to, be willing to help more likely than, poor African Americans and stuff like that. Right. So that's why I'm pushing it. I see it as an advantage. I see it as a chip on my shoulder. I see it as something that it has to be done. Like, I have to put in the work. I have to get it done in order to grow. So I don't know what you want to take from this, though, right? You know what I mean? Like I said, we don't know what's next. You could try to comment below what you think is next for African Americans. But for me personally, you know what I mean? I just don't know. But the point of the matter is, how are you going to control that? What are you going to take from this in order to grow yourself, grow as a man? All right. So that's really all I had today. Definitely check out that episode with Talks with Kyrie, episode 1. And hope you guys kill the dance. Remember, you pray for marketing like this. Copy, got out.